So, hello, welcome back to James Rambling Reviews for yet another episode. I kind of just sang a little bit of a tune there, as today's video I'm going to be focusing on an Indian type of franchise here, which is the YSR Universe, Spy Universe, whatever you want to call it, where you have Salman Khan, and the first, there's Ek the Tiger, Tiger, Zinda. There is Tiger 3, but before that you also have War and Pathan, which I'm probably going to end up reviewing those as well. So in this video I'm going to be reviewing the first two movies, because last week, as a bit of context, I went to see Sikandar and I was like, I should have went back and watched the other Salman Khan movies to get a feel for what his acting was like. So I kind of did that, and I'm kind of glad I did do just that, because once we start getting into how I felt about the movies and stuff like that, you'll kind of understand that I am just continuously enjoying this type of cinema and this type of genre. So there's all of that. You already know I like Indian movies. I don't need to go over that 1,000 times over. You've clicked onto this channel, you know that in the past I've done these videos where I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of lightening up and getting an appetite for this type of cinema. So there's all of that. So what is this type of, spy franchise about? So the simplest way you can describe this is you've got a guy called Tiger, who is pretty much the Indian equivalent of James Bond, as a big example, where he is this guy who's trying to go on a mission, and he's going to make sure the mission goes well, and if the mission doesn't go well, he has to do it so many times to prove it to his boss, and then if his boss doesn't approve, then he has to go over it again and again and again and again and again, and he wants to be the best version of himself, right? Like that true nature of a man that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the job done, I'm going to get the girl, all of that, generic stuff, all of that cliche stuff and all of that. So there's definitely that, and you have both of the movies are 2 hours long, but the second movie is just a little bit longer than the first one. So there's all of that. So where do we begin with the first movie, the 2012 film, Ek the Tiger? So let's just be honest into saying this, and let's just quickly fix my hair right now, but Salman Khan is the makeup of this movie. He really puts in the time and energy to showcase his performance, and he's like, okay, I know how to act, I know how to have a fun time with you guys, I am going to give the fans what they want, and he just really has this sense of aura and this sense of gravitas. Whenever he shows up in the screen, he's like showing so much grace as he spawns into the camera. He's just like, this man just really cares about the stuff that he's doing. And the action sequences where you have, for example, because we'll be getting into spoilers here, there's this scene where he punches this guy in a building, and then like these cigarettes fly in the air. It's nothing like crazy, and then when they zoom in and fight each other, it's like zzz, zzz, like it's nothing like mind blowing. It's kind of, I'd say it's a little bit more of a low budget movie for 2012, especially. That's like years and years ago now. So there's these kind of things. There's also an action scene where he's actually like on a piece of like wood or something like that. He's got 2 guns down the stairs. He's like boom, 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 boom. There's not like a big car chase and there's an explosion and then there's a big plane. Or there's nothing crazy like that. It's just nice and simple action sequences in here. And then, because it's an Indian movie, there's actually there's a few sections in the 2012 film where you just have discussions with these characters. This guy called Gopi or something like that. He's trying to discuss with him, about, his love interest. Tiger has a love interest called Zoya, and the way he figures out that love interest exists is because he's trying to write a book on the greatest minds of science, on Professor Kidwai, who he finds in Dublin Island, right? I know that's a mouthful, but that's kind of the plot in this movie. He's trying to figure out, like, Professor Kidwai. When he meets Professor Kidwai, they have this banter where he's like, Tiger's like, oh, you're the mad scientist I heard about. It's like, are you trying to, like, be my love interest or something, and be my boyfriend? Like, there's all these jokes, so he's like, you're just having a laugh with him. And Professor Kedawai, you know, he's kind of after a while becomes a side character in this movie, as you know, Zoya takes a bit more focus, and you can obviously tell that there is a bit of an age difference between these characters. But honestly, you know, with Indian movies, I've noticed they don't really care about the age, because obviously they've agreed to this experience, they've agreed to it all, so it's like, okay, whatever, this is just a movie, this is just entertainment at this point, so all of that stuff is alright. And I feel like the actress and Salman Khan just get on really well in this movie, and especially as a Scottish person, when they started this like whole like big dance number where there's bagpipes and they're moving around like do 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 do, and they have the bagpipes out and stuff like that. Like, that was really cool that they actually added some British culture into this Indian movie and stuff like that. And there's even points where the two of them, Tiger and Zoya, go out of, you know, the United Kingdom, go into like Cuba and stuff like that. Like, this goes so many places, but it still tries to keep this like actual simple plot within itself, which I really do appreciate, especially for an Indian movie to do that. It's pretty impressive, because some of them they go really crazy and bombastic, which they do, but this one has a straightforward plot. And I also do appreciate the professor in this movie, because he is actually really, really damn hilarious as well. There's a lot of elements in like actual portions of the film where he takes the centre stage, right? And he's telling, you know, him, Tiger, how to be, and he has a lot of wisdom, and when he showcases his wisdom, it's really, really good when he showcases that to him. And there's just a lot of elements I really do appreciate. I would probably give, you know, the Tiger 2012 a solid 8 out of 10. This is an example of a movie that knows what it's going for. It knows that it's specifically targeting a specific audience. It knows how to do that, and it has a lot of things that you would like in an Indian film, and it's an eye-opening experience, because it was really quite a different kind of Indian film for me, because I've been watching all these other indie movies, different actors, and I've watched Salman Khan, and Salman Khan's got a specific style I'm really, really digging. There's just something about him, he feels like a Chad, you know, like an absolute man, so just absolutely love that about him. So, you know, there's definitely that. So then once we get into Tiger Zinda, right, the 2 hour and 38 minute sequel, I'm going to be honest that I do enjoy this one as well, but there is things about this movie where I was just kinda like, I don't really know if this compares well to the first movie. And obviously with a sequel, you can't always beat the original film unless the sequel does something that's equally as interesting as the first movie. And in certain ways it kind of goes that way. It kind of goes into this realm of like, okay, this might actually top the original and get close to that, but it's kind of like a few points behind. It feels like it's like the first movie's right here and the second movie's like kind of over there, you know. Because the reason why I say this is because the plot is messy. Like, the plot is really messy. Like, once I start actually dissecting it in my head a bit more here, the plot's really messy. You know, it goes into this whole plot line about this really, really dumb propaganda in the Middle East about, oh, there's this group that's going to set off a bomb and whatever, right? We're not going to go too much into that and stuff like that, but that is pretty much what it's going for. It's like, oh my god, there's a freaking group in the freaking Middle East gonna do some crazy shit, yo, sort of thing. But then you've got 15 nurses and all of this stuff, and then you've got this whole thing about these other people, and then it takes about half an hour before you get to Salman Khan, and it's like, we kind of just jumped into this thing about James Forward, the foreigner American guy, and all of that stuff. It's like, what the hell are we watching? And then we jump into this thing with Salman Khan. I liked it when Salman Khan actually has him and his like son. That angle is really heartwarming, and all of that's really nice. Like, you see the snow environments and everything gets a little bit better, and it gets a bit more comedic and a bit more fun. You can tell that the budget is a bit higher in this movie the shots and the camera angles and the budget and the way the gunfights happen, they do look a bit more high budget. But there are a few elements in this movie where you have to turn your brain off, because especially if you consider like later on in the movie when they finally get to the point where the villain really takes the centre stage, the main villain, the guy that's planning this bomb and everything like that. Like you're like he's like putting this place and he's actually trapped Zoya and Tiger in the same place. There's gas going off, and then like Salman Khan's character figures out a way to get out of this situation because he cannot die. Even if there's loads of gas in a closed space, he cannot die because he's the main character. So there's all these things where you're like, of course he's not going to die, he's the main character, of course he's not going to die, he's the main character. So there's all of that to be considered. But I think that when the Salman Khan bit, when you start getting to that, it's good. If you really think about the general bombs plot line, it's nothing actually mind blowing, no pun intended, but it's nothing mind blowing. The music is actually good, but there's not enough music. It's a lot more action, and it's basically just what a sequel does. It just goes over the top and it goes bombasticer and crazier and things. So I would probably give it about like a 7, a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's, pardon me, highly watchable, but you cannot beat the original. One of those ones. So yeah, that's my review of both movies. I had to I tried to do this video once. It was 10 minutes. And this video is getting a bit longer, but there was just a lot we had to explain and unpack. So hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for more like this one. And see you in the future, because I'm definitely going to get around to reviewing the other YSR movie marathon, Spy Universe, whatever you want to call it. So peace out. Bye 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 bye.